So China's done it again. It has just taken OpenClaw and just made an extremely efficient and cheaper version that can run on a $10 Linux board or like an old Android phone. So what's the hype all about and what can we do about it? Let's dive into that in this video today. So just as of February 16th, so yesterday, it was made by a company based in Shenzhen. They've been making chips and like AI stuff since 2011. A company called Sipeed based in Shenzhen, which is kind of like the tech capital of China. And the creation of this isn't so much in the sense that, oh, this is going to be beating OpenClaw, but more on the speed of advancement. Like this could probably start running on a toaster or a Tamagotchi or even a potato in maybe 2 weeks or 1 month's time. God knows what it can run on by the end of the year. But if we take a look at this document here, I'll paste this link down in the description below so you can also reference this yourself. But it's pretty much a personal AI assistant inspired by NanoBot. And NanoBot is pretty much an ultra lightweight personal AI assistant inspired by OpenClaw, and it can deliver the core agent functionality in just 4,000 lines of code rather than 430,000 lines of code using ClawdBot or OpenClaw. It's run on the programming language called Golang, and yes, it can run on a $10 hardware like an old Linux board or an old Android phone. OpenClaw is ran on the language TypeScript Node.js, while PicoClaw is ran on Go, and the RAM required is usually more than 1 GB. So a lot of people are saying, oh, you can only run OpenClaw on a Mac Mini, but that isn't the case. You can run it on a VPS for way cheaper than that. But for PicoClaw, the RAM required is only less than 10 megabytes. And the startup time for OpenClaw is around 500 seconds, whereas for PicoClaw, it's less than a second. So it's 400 times faster to start up. And just for reference here, like the Mac Mini, yes, it's $600, but you don't need to purchase a Mac Mini to run it. People just say it's better to, but you can just use a VPS for a couple bucks a month. Another misconception is that a lot of people think you need to buy a board from Sipeed to make it work. No, any $10 to $50 Linux board to work, a Raspberry Pi also works, or just an old Android phone running Linux or Termux. So let's take a look at how OpenClaw and how PicoClaw works. So pretty much what happens that both OpenClaw and PicoClaw operate on a loop execution cycle basis. For those who don't know, a loop is essentially the core execution cycle the agent runs every single time it processes a task. So the pattern is you give it an input, then there's context assembly, which is the next step, and then there's an LLM interference, then it calls the tools and it executes the tools and it repeats if needed, replies to you, there's going to be a persist state. So whenever you send OpenClaw or PicoClaw a message, let's say check my daily activities or my daily spending for today, it receives a message, it assembles the context. So that's pretty much your sol.md file. And if you want me to make a video on how to create your sol.md file and how to save tokens and save credits on your API calls for that, then comment down below and I'll make that video for the next video, as I have been receiving many requests on how to optimize your token spending. So your sol.md is pretty much your conversation history, memory, and tool schemas. It sends that to the LLM, so let's say Claude or OpenAI or ChatGPT or even Ollama. The LLM then decides which tools to call. Let's say read a Google Sheet, and it then executes those tools, feeds the results back to the LLM, and then the LLM either calls more tools or produces a final reply. That whole cycle is a loop. So it keeps looping the tool cycle, and it's the same pattern Claude code uses. So you can also just produce like basically an OpenClaw using Claude code. Like they have the same function. But the only difference is OpenClaw wraps it in a persistent daemon connected to messaging platforms with heartbeats, cron jobs, and memory that persists between runs. So every message, every cron job trigger, every heartbeat checks runs through the same loop. So OpenClaw and PicoClaw runs on the same loop cycle. So if we take a look at how PicoClaw works, it's essentially the same. You send a message through Telegram, Discord. They don't have a WhatsApp function right now. The only difference is that it runs on a $10 Linux board. Now the common misconception here that I see on Twitter right now, the $10 board doesn't run the AI. It's the orchestration loop. The actual intelligence still comes from the cloud LLM APIs like Anthropic, OpenAI, and that you're paying for separately. So both of them require you to pay for API separately. The board is basically a tiny traffic controller. It receives your Telegram message, sends it to Claude's API, gets a response, and sends it back. And that's why it can be so small. There's been conversations on the internet saying, oh, this is from, just another piece of cheap tech from China. And this is not going to replace OpenClaw. And I still believe OpenClaw is a better option because it can run more things than PicoClaw, right? It can run cron job. It has WhatsApp integration, which I love. It has browser automation and multi-agent orchestration. So how I look at it is pretty much PicoClaw being a scalpel and an OpenClaw being the factory. So if you need browser automation, computer control, or the skill marketplace, stay on OpenClaw. But if you just need the core loop and you just want to run some APIs, cron jobs, and just basic chat and web search, just like maybe like, hey, what's the price of Bitcoin today on a cheap piece of hardware, then PicoClaw might be an option, but you could just run both. And there comes the next question, right? So your data is going to China, they're collecting all your data. But since PicoClaw is made by Sipeed, a Chinese hardware company, people will worry about this, right? So the reality is your data goes wherever your LLM provider is, right? If you point PicoClaw to Anthropic's API, your prompts go to Anthropic. If you point it at DeepSeek, that's a different story, right? The agent itself is open source. Anyone can audit the code on GitHub. The board is just a middleman. It's kind of like the same thing as like worrying about your keyboard manufacturer reading your emails. It's just a middleman, right? So to better explain what the key difference is, because a lot of people on the internet can't seem to find a difference between OpenClaw and PicoClaw, think of it like a personal assistant or an employee or a new employee that you just hired sitting at a desk, right? Let's say you write down a message or a job for them to do on a sticky note and you hand it to them on that desk. They read it, they think about what you do, maybe make a phone call or a tool call in our instance, get an answer, think again, maybe make another call or call another tool, and then write you back on the email or just go to your desk and tell you about it. That whole process is one loop. Now, PicoClaw and OpenClaw both do this exact same thing and both do it on the exact same desk routine. The only difference is that PicoClaw uses a smaller desk. Another example is that OpenClaw is built on TypeScript or Node.js, while PicoClaw is built on Go, which is more like a stripped down version of that code. So OpenClaw is kind of like installing a kitchen to make coffee, while PicoClaw is just using a kettle and a mug. They both make the same coffee, just with way less stuff around it. And 95% of PicoClaw's code was written by an AI agent. And this is pretty interesting because that AI literally rebuilt itself to a lighter version. So if we take a look at the real cost breakdown here of PicoClaw and OpenClaw, like a lot of people are saying, oh, you should go with a $600 Mac Mini M4, which you don't necessarily need, but it's just, you know, maybe safer in most people's eyes. But PicoClaw is $10 to $50 for a board. AI calls remain exactly the same because it just depends on your LLM that you're using. For web search API, they're both free using Brave. It's around 2,000 calls per month. They both require you to communicate with them through Telegram. WhatsApp just doesn't work on PicoClaw, and the total year's cost is around $959 to $1.5K for OpenClaw. If you're using a Mac Mini, it's probably way cheaper than that if you're using a VPS to start off. And when you're first starting off, I do recommend you using a VPS to start off because that allows you to learn much cheaper. And then once you've learned and started automating some tasks, then you can switch over to a Mac Mini or a Mac Studio. So what the GitHub community is reporting is that for just light usage, like a few cron jobs, it's around $10 to $30 per month with API costs. Again, if you want me to run over token efficiency and credit efficiency video, comment down below and I'll be sure to make that in the next video. PicoClaw will be probably best for light work. It's just basic daily briefing, simple tasks. You don't need OpenClaw to do that. But for business automation, complex research, and competitive analysis, then I recommend using OpenClaw to do that. So kind of like a hybrid structure or like a smart architecture to go through is kind of like having both. Like the optimal setup will have both. So the cheap always on board will require you to have the PicoClaw, $10 to $50 a month, using the PicoClaw agent, using the Go language, cron jobs, Heartbeat, Telegram jobs, just basic research and stuff like that, and basic communication and basic cron jobs. PicoClaw would do the job, but keep the Mac Mini and keep OpenClaw for browser automation. Like if you need to operate some fancy software, which requires OpenClaw to understand the step-by-step on how you operate that software, you should definitely stick with OpenClaw's full feature set. So let's take a look at what the community is saying as well. So we can also take a look at PicoClaw's website here and take a look at the comparison. Pretty much what we went through just now, less than 1 second to start up, while OpenClaw is around 30 seconds to 500 seconds. And they say, yeah, the minimum cost is 500 plus for a Mac Mini, but you do not need to use a Mac Mini to start OpenClaw. And here are a few use cases you can use for PicoClaw. It has code assistant, content creation, API integration. So if you're just using some basic API calls, then PicoClaw more than enough does the job. And if you want to install it onto your computer, all you need to do is copy this piece of code, head to your terminal and press enter. And there are more setup instructions right here should you want to install PicoClaw onto your device. If we take a look at some Twitter threads, you know, a lot of people are saying that you do need a $600 Mac Mini. My opinion is that you do not need that at all. And I kind of segmented the community into 3 batches of people, right? The first batch of people are saying, oh, $10 hardware running a full AI agent is insane, right? That's, you know, revolutionary. 12,000 stars on GitHub in 7 days. You know, that's the fastest growing AI agent repo in recent memory, right? While there's also the camp 2, right? The skeptics, right? You know, same functionality on a 10 megabyte RAM means it's an API client, not a local agent. You know, that $10 board still needs a $200 API subscription. Yes, correct as well. I kind of fall into camp 3, which is like the builders. I feel like they have the most valuable takes, right? The real game is in hardening and securing agents to do meaningful economic work in sandboxed and protected environments, highly valuing leakage prevention, right? Efficiency is impressive, but for enterprise workflows, trust in where the data goes is as important as the hardware cost, so they don't mind spending extra on the hardware. And while everyone is obsessed with shrinking the orchestrator footprint, but no one is talking about the data sovereignty, right? Nobody is talking about the data. We're freely handing our ideas, prompts, and designs to the LLM. So the real danger isn't in Sipeed, the creator of PicoClaw, but my take is that, the skeptics are right, the hype crowd is also right, but the builders are right that none of this matters until you actually build automations that run your business, right? The tool is the vehicle, the automation is the destination. And here are some top comments on these threads that I wanted to share as well. It is a lot cheaper to run. You can start running it on smaller devices as the weeks go on. Probably by March, you can probably run it on a potato. Now, the most important issue to address here is the China question, right? So multiple people on Twitter have addressed this concern. PicoClaw is fully open source, just like OpenClaw. It does run locally on your hardware. It does not phone home to Sipeed servers, and the agent calls whatever LLM you want it to call. So the data flows from your board to your chosen API provider. Sipeed is not in that data path, so you don't have to worry about your data being collected by Sipeed. And again, of course, everything on the internet you want to take with a grain of salt, right? PicoClaw is an early stage software, so they literally warn you not to deploy to production yet. It does have a smaller code base and a smaller community, if at all a community. And there have been a couple, crypto scam warnings on PicoClaw's GitHub that is worth mentioning in this video. So again, these are powerful things that you can use, but with equal power, there's also equal risk. So do take this with a grain of salt. But TLDR, you should use PicoClaw if you want a simple chat assistant on Telegram or Discord. You want to experiment with AI agents cheaply. You need basic reminders, Q&A, simple automations, or you're a tinkerer who wants to learn about how AI agent loops work, or you have a spare Raspberry Pi or a cheap board collecting dust, or like a really old computer collecting dust that you want to use and put it to good use. And you should use, on the other hand, you should use OpenClaw if you're running an actual business automation, just like my business right now, running a B2B service-based business, or you need browser control, you're automating or using any fancy software, CRMs, you're using multi-step workflows with tool chaining, and you want the skill ecosystem and community integrations, and you're willing to invest in a Mac Mini or server for reliability. So the real takeaway here is that the intelligence comes from the LLM API, not the hardware. Both tools, just the messenger, and your data goes to the LLM provider, not to Sipeed or not to OpenClaw itself, and not to the hardware manufacturer. And the biggest takeaway of this video is that in 1 week, we went from you need a Mac Mini to run your AI agent to you can run one on a chip that costs less than a coffee, right? That progression took 1 week. AI agents are going to be everywhere, on routers, in cars, on $10 boards and closets. The skills that you're learning now, setting up agents, writing system prompts, building automations, are going to be relevant for the next decade. So if you want more videos just like this and newest updates on OpenClaw and AI automation and AI agents, then give this video a like and comment what you want me to cover next. And I hope you found some value in this video, and I'll see you in the next video.